XRP has made history. Large buyers are getting ready to buy. We got this great new interview with Canary Capital's CEO, Stephen McClurg. We also have a lot of other news and information about XRP. How many ETFs are we seeing right now? What does that do? G Treasury has some new news to share. You need to see this G Treasury and Trengelo stuff. There is a lot going on. Let's go. Let's say that your XRP launch was, based on the amount of trades on the first day, the biggest launch of all the ETFs and ETPs in the US all year. That is a completely crazy fact. That's why I'm going to use a round number of $60 million for daily dollar amount on day one. This is related to two things. First, you sold something that people wanted. Second, people in the market needed and wanted it. So those kinds of liquidity factors are really great. The crypto business should be proud of it. The ETF industry should be proud of it. The markets should be happy about it. Thanks for your hard work. That's an impressive feat. Yes, thank you very much. Also, please say thanks to my team. Believe it or not, we have great friends. Cass and Kotler are great lawyers for us. However, we also have a great team, and some of us have been working together for a long time. Listen up, the team is very important. It looks like the people at Canary Capital know what they're doing. It helped them a lot that they were able to get their goods on the market first. It's really amazing that you almost made $60 million in sales on the first day. In 2025, XRP beat out 900 other goods to become the best. This is thanks to the work of the team at Canary Capital. A lot of us say team. Everything is fine. Okay. Watch this video about XRP again. I've played clips from this man before. A lot of people talk about how Bank of America is linked to Ripple, XRP, and the new 35-second clip. Let's go. A lot of people are looking at the stock market right now, but some of the best chances are in hard assets and digital assets. In other words, crypto leverage has been totally wiped out over the last few months. We're actually at all-time lows for leverage, and whenever it does, it sets the stage for a strong move higher. That being said, I think we're getting ready for a big crypto rise before the end of the year. I'm taking a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. These are the plays that build things. Right here, things could pick up speed very quickly. Okay? Okay then. Thanks for sharing. As Paul Barron put it, Wall Street is moving in. He was talking about this new thing for Bitwise Milestone Day for the XRP community. It left me wondering where it went. The Bitwise XRP ETF started trading on the New York Stock Exchange this morning. It's trying to hide from me. With today's start, investors now have an easier way to get spot exposure to XRP, the cryptocurrency that wants to change the $250 trillion global payments market. It also talks about why it's interesting in 13 years. Of course, the XRP army, a group of very dedicated followers. That's great. Okay, the market cap and a few other things follow. There's a lot of news. As you can see, all of this is important because these businesses are selling XRP. It shows up in front of more buyers, right? This is what we need. We need another $5,000. We need 1 million more people to buy XRP because I think everyone does, right? There are still places we want to add, but many people are happy with their bags and have stopped. This is why you need the new market. That new supply crunch is what you need. Still, we're beginning to understand. Okay. And Chad Steingraber says Bitwise basically 8.8 million Canary, 5.7 million total volume looking like today, 14.6 million so far. It's clear that people want to know why the price is less than $2. Lots of this XRP was bought from, dark pools and over-the-counter OTC cards. Ladies and gentlemen, once those run out, it will be time for the Coinbases and Stands of the world. Where are you going to get XRP after we use up that certain amount? Yes, Ripple? Right now, Ripple has a lot of power, right? They are free to choose whether to sell this XRP or not. They might even say, wait, hey, we're going to ask for a higher premium for this XRP. Do you want a deal? You should have called us 2 years ago when we were still in a fight with the SEC. Now, the only thing we have going for us is speed. We have tailwinds, legislation, the EVM sidechain, the G Treasury, and Ripple Prime. Right now, a lot of good things are happening for Ripple. Ripple is the one in charge. Smoke Dog is right. Support for XRP ETFs is just beginning to grow. This list will soon have more names on it, including some of the most important names in business. Again, keep in mind that some of these people and investors are waiting for their company to launch a product, right? Not all products are made the same, and not all organizations are the same. This is why people like to invest, where people love and care for them the most. And if you've had a brokerage account with, say, Franklin Templeton for 10 or 20 years, you will wait for them to give that product. And it stands to reason that waiting might help you get a better deal, right? Early last week, it cost $2.20 or $2.30. It costs $2 now. That means people can get more for their money, and that's really important. Then, of course, let's do it. So far, daily net amounts for Canary and Bitwise XRP have been seen. So this is kind of what you're looking at. It's clear that the first day is very busy. Then when we get more ETFs, we'll start building. This will keep growing, and sooner or later, guys, it will all pay off. XRP volume is going up because as of November 20th, 2025, daily net entries are around $118 million, adding up to $410 million so far. These green bars look pretty hot. Besides that, I also wanted to find out a little more. What kind of daily activity do we see if this level of activity stayed the same through the end of the year? So these are the numbers. If the daily net inflow volume for spot XRP ETF stays the same until the end of 2025, the total net inflows could hit about 5.25 billion US dollars, with about 2.6 billion XRP bought. These are the only two ETFs that have already been released. This doesn't count the 6 or 7 that are starting right after us next week. You start to say, slowly but surely, we're getting there. Yes, the calculations show that the total net imports would reach 5.25 billion by the end of the year with a daily average of 118 million. If this trend continues until December 31st, it will add up to a total of 410 million today. It was thought that XRP would buy about 2.62 billion. It is known that there are only 3 billion XRP left on exchanges. This means that the XRP would have to come from people like you and me or from major users. Okay, let's change things up a bit. G-Treasury and Trangolo, as well as Ripple and XRP, know some new things now. Trangolo, a top cross-border payment service, uses Ripple payments to make transfers possible right away across complicated corridors. Ripple's network gives users access to 100 financial institutions and partners around the world. It also supports 5,000 refund partners in 70 countries and processes payments from start to finish in less than a minute. Users can get cash 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays. All of this makes operations run smoothly. So they put out this new 20-second ad, which is good for the CFOs. So I guess this is the ad for it. I did want to find out more about this subject. The $1 billion deal that Ripple made to buy G-Treasury is a game changer because it greatly expands their use cases and gives XRP institutional credibility. It also gives Ripple a direct path into the multi-trillion-dollar corporate treasury sector and instant access to hundreds of enterprise clients around the world. What are the pros of Ripple and XRP? People in the room, that's a great question. Thanks a lot for the question. Now that G-Treasury's infrastructure is part of Ripple, Fortune 500 companies and big multinationals can use XRP and RLUSD to make instant cross-border transactions and automate cash management. The cool thing about this is that these customers are at G-Treasury. Just think of all the businesses that have to compete with these Fortune 500 companies. There are many of them. There are a lot of them, right? All of these businesses are competing for customers, business, market share, and money. There must be a lot of pressure on those other businesses that are now competing with those that can use Ripple products, right? Each company that can now get to it can use their money to do a lot more. Have you seen Ripple Prime? It was a secret road. Ripple came in and has been able to 3 times their business since May. They tripled the business in just 6 or 7 months. If they can do that with G-Government, it could go from clearing 12.5 trillion to clearing, 30 or 40 trillion a year. That's where things might get really interesting. As it grows and more people use it, it puts pressure on all of these other businesses. Now it's almost like a race to get the newest and best technology because if you don't, you'll be behind. That's why I'm so optimistic. As the price drops, I'm still happy because I know where this is going. Okay, so now that XRP is part of this sector, treasurers and CFOs can use the on-demand liquidity to free up trapped capital, cut payment times from days to seconds, and use blockchain rails to improve cash forecasts, risk management, and compliance. With G-Treasury's relationship with more than 1,000 business clients in 160 countries, institutional adoption of XRP is likely to rise. This could lead to sustained buying pressure on the currency, especially since businesses are using it more and more as a bridge asset for global flows. On-demand funding is now powered by services like Trangelo, which cut the cost by 70 cents. We did talk about the bigger picture and how important it is that there are refund partners in more than 70 countries. This is the 3rd company that Ripple has bought this year. XRP is now being used by some of the world's biggest companies to handle all of their cash and liquidity. The company has grown from just cross-border payments to full-service corporate finance. To give you some background, the corporate treasury payments business that Ripple and G-Treasury are going after is worth $120 trillion every year. There is also more and more knowledge about smart contracts on the XRP ledger. That's really cool. Of course, this is Rath Economin. Then I think this man is the one explaining. I'm not going to mess up his name. There is nothing public about it, but it gives a good picture of the XRP ledger smart contract architecture that is being worked on. Let's look at this from left to right. Based on the core design, contracts live on fake accounts. Every contract is stored on a separate account that doesn't have any private keys. This was caused by a contract call exchange. When users deal with contracts, they send a new type of transaction. At the bottom, it says that contracts send standard extra PL transactions to change the state of the ledger through native transactions. This page has features, use cases, and security on the right side. Security is very important for financial companies. It talks about DeFi protocols, bridging solutions, and reward systems for coin staking. The WASM is in the middle. It is secure, fast, language flexible, and driven by a high-performance WASM virtual machine. WebAssembly provides a safe, quick, and language-neutral platform for running programs. After that, you should definitely make new DeFi protocols, bridges, or prize contracts for token staking. Don't forget that when we make these staking contracts, you should clearly do some study before you lock up any of your XRP. That is where you need to meet with the financial helper. But when you cut down on the amount of XRP in circulation, right, that number is going down because of you. The price goes up because of that. That's why Flare, Midnight by Charles Hodgkins, and some of these new DeFi layers that are being built out in these staking contracts are important. The price will only go up if we can start cutting the supply from 65 billion to 50 billion to 40 billion to 20 billion. After adding the EVM sidechain and the ETF market, you can add things like adoption, regulation, and so on. All of them are coming together at once. It's fun. Okay, how virtual machines talk to each other. Native functions, ABI storage, and code efficiency. If you want to take a moment to read that, please do. I just wanted you to know about that. The SEC is also moving in this area. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has given the New York Stock Exchange, ACROS, permission to list and trade the Bitwise 10 Crypto Index ETF. So if you don't know what these are, let me explain. Spot XRP and Spot Solana are examples of what these are. In a way, the index is more like a group of properties. These are the ones you should choose if you're not sure which one you want. If you want to see the top 10, those are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Sol, ADA, SUI, Link, AVAX, and DOT. Now you can buy a single product that does all of these things. The market can now hold more goods, which will make a lot of people very excited. The SEC-approved ETF structure means that money managers, pension funds, and other standard investors can buy XRP. This is good news for XRP and the rest of the industry because it means more institutional access and liquidity. By using known brokerage accounts, they got around past compliance problems and custody worries. Of course, early signs of the market effect show a clear rise in both trading volume and open interest for XRP derivatives. People are also getting more and more excited about the expected ETF-linked inflows and market exposure, telling you guys that we have a lot more goods coming out and a lot more money from institutions that can come in. Of course, stores were here first. The institutions are coming after them. Once that all sorts of stuff happens, these things we have probably won't be worth as much as we think they are worth. They are going to move toward that idea of utility. That's when things will really get exciting. Okay, thanks for being here. This is Crypto Sensei. Guys, if you liked the movie, please like, share, and chat with us below. In any case, thanks for being here. I hope you have a great weekend and a wonderful holiday season. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the United States. No matter what holiday you enjoy with your family, I hope you have a great time. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon.